There is a perfect example of motherhood out there. We've all felt its presence. It lingers in our social media feed, in the products we buy, the answers to the questions we research. Even though we know it's not real, we feel it spotlight what we could be doing better.
Join two best friends as they step off the stage of motherhood and go behind the scenes with moms from different walks of life.
The Momcult Podcast. Real moms, real talk, real tired.
This podcast should just be all about how we don't know how to make a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm Sarah Parker Massey.
I think you need to get closer to your mic. There you go.
There you go.
That sounds way better.
I'll do that and I'll turn it up.
Do you have any lumbar support for me if you're asking me to get so close to this microphone? It's like super uncomfortable for me.
I have my mic turned.
Yeah, I'm surprised Kate didn't come with a writer for this session.
Oh,
Fascinating.
yeah. Believe me, there were no white flowers when I walked in here, so.
I'm Sarah Parker Massey.
I'm Joy Todd.
This is the Momcult Podcast. Welcome.
Yay.
Hello. Our guest today holds a big place in my heart.
Ugh.
When I met her, she was already a mom. She was where we are now. She has 3 kids. She was looking for her sense of the grounding purpose. I was 22 and I had no cares, but I had a retail store, and she pursued a friendship with me and started her own vintage business and had a retail storefront of her own that is fairly iconic in Nashville lore. She gave me my very first graphic design job to design the logo for that business and let me be a true nightmare and learn all over her project. The best kind of mom. She parlayed that into an interior design firm, and she's somewhat of an Instagram personality, connecting her innermost personal thoughts with her social media in a way that's humorous and compelling.
I can't tell if she's going to throw up or punch you in the face.
She's uncomfortable.
She seems really unhappy.
Kate Mills. Do we say Kate Mills Pyle or Kate Mills?
No, we just say Kate Mills.
Kate Mills.
Hi.
Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, Kate.
It's weird with you guys looking at me.
Did you
We're
hate?
going to be looking at you the whole
I know, it's
time.
weird.
Did you hate that? I can do
No,
it again.
No, I
She
didn't.
hated
I
just like certain parts.
just don't like hearing about myself in such a weird way. I'm
Like,
not good
because
at
it's so earnest.
Yeah, I'm not good at anything that's not sarcasm. I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress. By the way, I just need to say that the way that you guys are looking at me and doing the, I just am waiting for one of you to say, schweddy balls. And if you don't know that reference, I'm leaving immediately.
I don't. Can you tell us what it is?
It's an SNL reference.
Yeah.
I know I've seen it, but
Yeah.
it's been a long time.
You're acting it out in real life, and I'm not going to tell you. You're just going to have to watch it.
Schweddy balls.
Okay. Hi. Great to see both of you.
Okay, you have 2 children, yes? What are their ages?
3, but thanks for the
3.
in-depth
I thought you said
research.
2.
I said 3. Oh, I was supposed to send you background on her before.
Wow. You didn't.
No.
So far, this
Sorry.
is really
3 kids. 1
3 kids.
biological, 2
One
stepchildren.
straight out the vag. 2, I'm not sure how they got there. They just showed up in
That's
there
not
with
my
this
problem,
guy.
none
I
of
was
my
like,
business.
Wait, what is this shit?
Who are these 2?
But I will say they've been, I don't make that differentiation between step and whatever because they've been so long with me,
Yeah.
with us as a family. And it's funny because we actually had this conversation with them when must have been a couple years ago when I realized that I never refer to them as stepkids if I'm talking about them on Instagram or whatever. And I said, does that offend you when I just call you my kids? Not that I care if they're offended by that. I was really curious. And my take on it was, if I would feel gross saying stepkids, making them
Right.
different and feel weird. So
Yeah.
when I explained it to him that way, I think it made more sense to him. But it is a weird thing when you see parents having to even think about how to call the kids that aren't really
Theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have other people involved that might be like, don't you call my daughter your
Right.
daughter and
Right.
stuff like that. So,
Territorial.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you just focus on the kids and that, what makes them feel comfortable
Yeah.
Yeah.
after your own comfort.
Yes.
Sorry.
100%.
Your comfort first, definitely.
Yeah. And so actually, not that I don't know if you need me to say sorry, but I am sorry that I said step
Thank you.
because I grew up with a similar situation with my siblings, same mom, different dad. And we never, it was like
Yeah.
almost a bad word. Don't say that, even though
Yeah.
I like love their dad and whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think it's, and now it's the norm, right? Blended families, it's odder if you are your family of origin. So I think different, this is my half brother twice removed because I slept with, my dad slept with
Nobody cares.
Who are just
those are semantics.
Brother, sister, family is what it comes down to. And so the stuff, and I get why we still have to do stepmom and dad to draw that parallel, but whatever. They're just my kids.
Yeah.
So in a roundabout way, yes, I have 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. And that's all the time we have today. Thanks for tuning in.
We're not going to fit in anything else.
Now on to the Real Housewives.
How was your week, Sarah?
Good. Let's see. Parker started a new school 2 weeks ago. I've talked of...
Who's Parker?
Yeah. How many kids do you have again?
Wait, oh my God, you only have 1 kid.
She acts like it's hard.
No, she just said, she's just like us. She has 3 kids. You only have 1, you have 2, and I have 3. So now
you're sort of where we are now, navigating the early, because your kids were little when I met you.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so Parker, your kid is doing what now?
He's 3. He started a new, a 3-day week school, and he's in the same school for 2 days. And I promised myself I wouldn't talk about the tiny details of this, but the point is he struggled getting started at his new school in the way that he was nervous. It's a big change. It's on a farm. Sure. It's pretty intense. He has to carry his own backpack, which is truly heavy.
His own water pail.
So it's more of a, not as structured. If I'm thinking preschool, I'm wrong.
It is a preschool, but it's they expect a lot of them. It's very physical, and they started out not going inside at all. So it's just a lot. And then there's no nap. It's a big leap. And it was all new and weird. I'm not sure exactly which piece of it, if it was he could feel me being nervous or he felt, I don't know which thing it was, but I already said that 2 weeks ago. And it's been as all these things are, a huge, just big shift in the way that you both know, I wake up and drink coffee instantly. That has been always since I was 18. I've done that. Now I've stopped drinking coffee until I drop him off at schools. And I think that's making a huge difference in he can't feel my anxiety, because I started to notice, or I felt like I was noticing he was seeing the similarities in so I don't know if have I made it clear that he was feeling anxious, getting out of the car. So he was crying, wasn't really talking, wasn't being himself at all, was struggling pottying. He didn't want to ask for anything. He was just really tense at school.
I'm sorry. Did you say he was struggled pottying?
Yeah, he didn't want to ask to go.
Just a minute ago, I was imagining you had a Boston accent, so what you would really say is potty.
He was struggling pottying.
He couldn't potty. Paca couldn't potty.
Paca's pissed he can't potty no more. It's no school.
Fuck? Okay, sorry. I don't know.
You're from Brooklyn.
Paca potty. Okay. Parker couldn't potty. Okay. Got it. I think it's with J-Lo and Ben have been all in the news, so I'm just thinking Boston.
It happens.
I could cover that.
Sorry, go ahead. Paca can't potty. Back to that.
He didn't want to ask to go. Anyway, and so I felt I was noticing him being I see that you feel what I feel in this way, and I don't want any part of that. He was I'm not like you. But that's the interaction that I felt we were having. He was just get away from me in general in life. There's no real way for me to cover all the bases, but the point is, I feel I've clicked.
Don't jinx it.
Yeah. I found a new level of, I don't know, zen, peace, something. And I think a lot of it is not drinking as much coffee and deciding not to be as rattled by things. I say over and over to myself in my head all day, I'm unrattled or something, which sounds really stupid when I say it out loud. Anyway.
But it works. Or it helps.
Unshaken. That sounds better. And I think that's what I have been saying. I started with unrattled. That sounds stupid. And the point is, the last 2 times I've dropped him off, it was so crazy. When I dropped him off, he would scream, lay on the ground, didn't want to go, really. And I get that's normal and kids do that. But the other kids at this school are not. That wasn't an issue.
My kids never did that.
I'm sure. Because
it's because they were stepkids.
My stepkids did, though. Those sons of bitches.
And as an aside, I don't know if that would help anybody. Whatever. He didn't do this at his other school. That's not the point. Okay, cut that out.
What was the point?
The point is...
Oh, that's what you were doing this week. Is trying to be more zen.
Yeah.
Because of his transition.
When I have lessened my anxiety, which like
lessens his.
I've been trying to do that my whole life. And I've like, before him, I was like pushed to do it in a different way. And it feels like it's, helped a ton. And so the last 2 times I've dropped him off, he's been like, bye.
That's exciting. Good job. Congratulations.
Thanks.
That's a big deal.
What about you?
Oddly similar. I have been trying to motivate myself to get out of the house early enough and go to the Y, not to exercise, just to sit and have 2 hours by myself while she plays in the nursery. And the other day I bribed myself to get there with a chocolate croissant.
Now, which is she? You have 2.
Penny, yeah.
Okay.
Ava's back in school.
Okay, got it.
So now I've just got Penny, but I'm trying to just get some kind of routine. But unlike Ava, who didn't have any clingy issues, Penny is very clingy. And so it's been almost a month of me bringing her and her screaming every time I drop her off.
Oh, no.
And today, she was just excited and tried to open the gate and walk in. And I like looked at all the teachers and I was like, oh my God, it's happening. I did it. And then I cried.
Wait,
like when I went and sat
what
down.
happened?
She just was fine. She wasn't freaking out. She just walked in and started playing. And it was just making me think about that you don't even realize the weight something is carrying until you just get used to it. And then as soon as it's
the weight in you.
As soon as it's released, you're like, oh my God, I didn't even realize the effect that had been having on me.
Yeah.
And so it just made me feel, I don't know, just proud that I knew I was like, I just need to keep doing it. Just keep bringing her, keep talking about it excitedly every time we're there. Mm-hmm. Tell her where we're going, not spring it on her, surprise her. Hey, we're going to go to the Y. You're going to play with other babies and toys. And so just to see that it worked.
Yeah.
Made me feel like, okay, I accomplished something today.
I felt that, that exact thing. And the steps, like I didn't get that at first, like the telling him, I would tell him where we're going, talk him through stuff, but he needs, okay, and when we turn down this road, you're going to see the gate, and then this lady's going to let you through, and then we're going to get out.
He likes that or he does not?
It helps him.
Okay, got it.
Like preparing, I don't know,
all the details.
Every single thing. And then after school, I will pick you up and I will have an apple juice and your snack. And the apple juice is seriously key. I know, you're freaked out. Well,
I'm just saying, my thoughts are, if you say these things I try not to ever have an always in that situation. If he is relying on these things to be in this order, you disrupt that order.
Yeah.
And one time you don't have the juice and one time the lady's not waiting there. But some kids won't realize that. But I'm saying if you've made that too big of a deal, would he...
Well, like, I mean, a couple of times I forgot the apple juice. And I'm like, nah, we're going to get the apple juice.
So you could say, I'm going to snack, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So he knows me. He's met me. So like he knows.
Well, and I think it's more about like once that pattern is established and they can let go some of their anxiety, then there's room for shift because they're used to it. I
think the main thing is he knows I'm coming back. Yeah, I just hijacked your thing, but
he knows the apple juice will pick him up.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Will there be apple juice? How many times did it take you going? Do you remember before she did that?
There was a big gap in between because I tried and it felt like I was trying too early. Like there was just a random period of time where she went from 2 naps to 1 nap. So I was like, oh, great. I can take her in this window now. And really she was still way too tired. And so it would just melt down. They did have to come get me a couple times. And so then I stopped going and I was like, I'm going to wait until her sleep schedule is back to being clear as to what it is. The problem was me being willing to get up and dressed and out of the house by 8:30 because they're only open till noon and then they close until 4. So my ideal window of time is when they're not open. So then it just took a long time for me to get my shit together and be like, just try to go to bed an hour earlier. Just set out your clothes the night before, like just physically get out the door. And once you're there, you'll be fine. But I had to bribe myself a lot. And one of those was like, I'm going to go pick up a chocolate croissant.
The night before?
No, the morning of, and then bring it to the Y.
Yeah.
And then instead of exercising, you're going to sit and eat your chocolate croissant.
I did not see
While
that.
other people
twist
are
coming.
exercising.
Plot
I love that.
twist. Not only am I not going to exercise at the Y, but I'm also going to be eating a chocolate croissant while I'm there.
Exactly.
I like your style.
But hey, they got me there. I've only done it
Whatever.
once. I've only had the croissant once, okay?
I have it every damn day.
They have a little coffee shop area, and I just use it as like my office hours to get stuff done without being interrupted.
I think that's a life hack.
Oh, what?
If anybody's needing any tips.
A life hack.
Oh, thank you.
The YMCA is a great place
Resource.
for moms. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every day there they go, have a good workout.
You're like, okay.
If you mean a mental workout, I will.
If by workout you mean chocolate croissant.
All right. How about it's your turn and we'll judge everything you say.
Seriously.
How's your week?
This week, it's really funny how we're going around the circle talking about these transitions, and you're like dropping your kid off at a farm work camp, and you're doing the YMCA, and I'm dropping mine at college, and it's same anxiety, different stage.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'm a little wiser having gone through so many of those. But it is funny to look at you guys and be super judgmental. You know, that's fun for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And to just really laugh at, I'm just kidding. But
No, that's.
But
I
it's
assume that's
comforting
true.
though. I would wish I could convey to you, like, I want to be that old lady that's like,
Do it. I like
Guys,
this.
you don't even
when
know
you don't
yet.
even need to worry. When you just, I'm sitting here really listening to the things that you're saying, and it's just so, you will never remember it. Do you know what I mean? And it's so eating you alive, which to me, there's two things. One, it means that you're exquisite mothers, people for caring about your kids like that. But two, you're both clinically insane.
I think
And
all
you've
moms
got-
are clinically insane.
But we have got, that is why I'm
Not
here.
by
This is a
choice.
full-on podcast takeover. I've come back from the other side, and I can see, like, we set these things up for ourselves. We tell ourselves these stories of how important we are. And like when you said the thing about anxiety, it's so fucking true. It's just a transference of energy and whatever. And if I think we've built this mystique about moms and God, moms have to do it all. And it's just this story. And I told it to myself too, for I don't even know why. But the truth is, you played this much of a part in your kid's life. And
How
you
big is
want to
that?
think
Like a centimeter?
this is like it's immeasurable. It's like more than a grain of sand, right? It's like a Lego size. If you're thinking about building a Lego, you're one thing. It's teachers, it's their parents, it's their peers, it's everybody. But moms, for some reason, are like,
Take on the
no,
brunt.
motherfucker, on this whole Lego house. Like, you can't do any of these things. Not to that degree, but we feel so responsible for everything, good and bad. As I think the difference with men is they really can compartmentalize. They really can turn it off. And when they're at work, they're at work. And when they go to sleep, they go to sleep. That's like the primary difference. But I feel like we have done that to ourselves. And me sitting here telling you that, it doesn't mean you're going to break it, but it will be helpful if you can realize, like, this thing doesn't have to be it. Like being a mom, just a mom, and thinking that you're responsible for this whole child and whatever. Take yourself a little bit out of that, and that I hope that relieves some of the pressure, let some of the air out, as Henry will say. Realize that you're just a small part in this kid's development, and whether you fail or not, everything's going to be fine. There are other people making up the slack for it. So
Right.
don't put all the pressure that I think we've put on ourselves it's not really true. It just really isn't true.
Yeah.
And the kids at a certain point could give a fuck less what you're doing, what you are. While you're worrying about it, they've already grown into their own person capable of making decisions, and you're just there to guide them and remove yourself from the situation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you have to remind yourself of that a lot. But I hate to see moms of like kids,
Little kids.
your age, just like beating the shit out of yourself. That's tough in a way.
Yeah. That's kind of what this podcast is for too,
Yeah.
is to get that idea out there that we're all dealing with the same stuff.
Yeah.
And that's just motherhood can be so isolating. So when you just are able to hear other people just talk about their experience,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, wow, that's oddly similar to my experience. And I felt really alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'm not crazy.
That's funny because when you talked about the social media and whatever, I realized that I've grown up I experienced a lot of my first things because of you in business. So when I first was on Pinterest, it was to send you stuff when we were doing the logo. I had no idea people could see it, or I didn't understand what it was. When I got Instagram, do you guys remember Hipstamatic? I thought it was the same thing. So I just thought it was a filter.
Yeah.
Until 6 months later, I saw hearts and I clicked on one of the bottom buttons. I was like, what the fuck is this? What do you mean people are looking at this? I have no idea. I just thought I was getting the filter so I could save the picture and post it on Facebook, which was also just getting underway. So I grew up with my kids on that. And it's interesting now that I look back and think, that was so innocuous then. That was me sharing whatever. And to what you just said, that was a huge thing for me, is to feel, I don't have a lot of friends or like mom groups. I never really got into that. So Instagram was one way of, and I'm horribly antisocial. So it was the one way that I could connect to people that I would never have to meet. And I always have that motto that if I feel like this, somebody else does too. So I'm happy to say it, especially if I'm never going to meet you and whatever. Right. You know what I mean? But now how parents are so protective of, even in your notes, you were like, and if you want to, we can obscure the face of your kids. And I was like, what the fuck? But then I was like, that is a thing now. Yeah. I've exploited my children their entire lives.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't even think twice about it. And so when I'm dropping Send It Off at school and posting about it, I'm taking something away from her. Tough shit. But I'm also doing it because I know that there are moms that deeply need to hear that, because this is, you're supposed to have your shit together, and now you're grieving on this whole other level that, it's like menopause, things that people don't talk about. So that's why I do it. But it is hard to find that balance between exploiting your kids, and if I could find a way to monetize, believe me, I would. But for now, it's just in poor taste.
Yeah, I would love to hear more about what just that experience was like and has been like since you dropped her off. Like could you feel it building up to, or did it all hit you the day of and you thought you were going to be fine?
Oh my God,
what was
the day of, no.
Progression?
I was in a deep mourning the previous year. And this is something
like her senior year before she graduated?
Yes, that whole year. And I didn't realize this until much later. But I wasn't just grieving her because Vigo had gone to school the year before, to college. And that was hard. But all I could see was her leaving, and then after that, August leave. So it's 3 in a row.
Bam, bam.
Yeah. So I remember Henry and I would be driving or just one particular day we were driving to the Belcourt. It was Sunday, and I could not stop crying. I would just have these bouts of, because then they're going to be gone in my life. And it's just the fear of the unknown and just this deep well of who am I? What am I supposed to do type situation. And then I realized that so all I would want to do is talk about moving. We're going to move. The minute that August graduates, our house is fucking sold. We're moving. I don't care.
Distraction.
I can't be. First of all, everybody knows I hate Nashville so much. All I wanted to do was get out. So that's all I was thinking about. And my place that I was going was Montana. And I love Montana. I've been visiting there probably since I was 20 years old. Took Henry there, and we were like, that's it. This is the spot. We're moving here. And then my sweet baby Frenchie died, and we went back. And then so I had that big loss. She was about to be 12. And so there's all this grief. And I was like, Montana, yeah, that's it. As soon as these kids are out, I'm going to go and I'm going to live on a ranch. I'm never going to see anybody. And once I realized I picked Montana in this deep state of grief, I wanted to be alone, and I wanted to be isolated, and I wanted to be this vast thing where I never saw anybody. I realized that I was pre-grieving so that I would be ready for when the thing came that I'd had my
you're like,
shit
I don't need anybody anyway. I've already done.
And so I kind of pre-grieved this, and then I was like, oh, well, we could move somewhere probably less better than that. And I realized I wasn't as sad because I was working through that stuff beforehand. When the time came to drop her off, and there are different levels. I watched her be anxious, and I watched her not able to pack up her room and be like, I actually have to go to a friend's house because they're saying goodbye. I was like, okay, we are literally leaving for college tomorrow. So if you'd like to pack up it. Oh yeah, I'm going to as soon as I get back from this thing. Oh, we'll have to. Seeing her, and there's a lot of things when moms do this and they can blindly see it just for themselves and what they're going through, instead of to stop and see, holy shit, she's the one fucking leaving. Who cares if I'm getting left? Her whole life is she's going to college 4 hours away. She doesn't know a single person, losing all her friends from school. Why am I making this about me? And I think that's something that moms also do, creating this narrative where I have to, I don't know if it's see myself or suffer equally or more, but it's also takes the air out when you make the problem about what they're really feeling, and all you need to do is support it. You don't need to take on the weight of that fucking problem. You don't need to feel anxious about it. You need to be like a whiteboard that's just reflecting and calmly.
Yeah.
And to me, that helps because I'm super selfish and self-absorbed, and that's just the truth of it.
Did it make you feel better seeing her anxious?
Yes.
Make you feel like, oh, we're sharing in this together.
Yes.
I'm not anxious by myself or sad by myself.
Yes. And it made me stronger because I realized, okay, my job.
Oh, she needs
back
me.
to
You
me.
like click into.
Well, yeah. And I don't need to be worried about how I feel. And it was really helpful. And I was like, I'm going to encourage you to be more vulnerable now. Share more, because she doesn't want to talk about her feelings. And she has FaceTimed me and called me. And she's called me crying a few times, which I haven't probably seen her cry. I saw her cry 2 times in a week last week.
Yeah.
And that's I probably have seen that 2 times in 10 years.
Yeah.
Really, because she's just that kid that doesn't need emotional support like that. So it's been nice. It was hard letting her go, but it's nice to know I still have my place with her.
Yeah.
And I'm still being able to be a mom, but it's just in a different, more grown-up way with all the practice that you can put in. So
Yeah.
it's been nice. And now will be the first full week where I'm not like, oh my God, is she at this class and is she having enough to eat? And is she getting date raped? And
She's spending her money.
Yeah. She's already lost her check card, so I had to mail her. And you know what I mean? So now I feel like I'm not every second of the day like, what is she doing now? Where is she going? Now I'm just like, oh, okay, whatever.
Do you track her phone?
No, but everybody does that.
I
find it
I have a ton of friends
disgusting.
that I know that do, and I'm like, I've never
is-
even thought of that.
Okay.
What?
It's so ridiculous. Sarah, are you saying you're going to do that?
100,000%.
But I'm saying I have friends that they track like husband and wives track each other. I have never.
I've shared my
once
location
looked
with
at
you.
where Jeremy is.
I share my I mean, I had anxiety about like stuff because of my parents' stuff. And so I used to check Eric's phone all the time. Now I don't because I did EMDR about it. But
It's of years of therapy.
yes, which has nothing to do with him, to be clear. But so I don't check that anymore. But yeah, whenever Parker's, yes, because why wouldn't you? I'm not saying
Because
it's
you
bad
trust
not
them?
to. Yeah, that's not the point. I'm saying like for safety.
Yeah.
Because I don't do it. It's
First
not.
of all,
now,
your
like,
son is 3, so I doubt he has a phone.
No, and he won't. I want him to only have a flip phone until
when she
he's.
starts driving, then maybe.
Yeah.
I would-
There's only one way that I
she's
see
not
that
home.
that's beneficial. And I had every reason to do it because Senate, her dad lives in Knoxville and has since she was 2. So once she got her license, she was driving to Knoxville.
Oh, wow.
And she goes to school has always gone to school far away from daycare on. I've been in East Nashville and she's gone to Brentwood, Maryland Farms, Green Hills, whatever.
Oh God, there's so much driving. Ugh.
So much, my whole life has been dedicated to driving, but that's a whole nother show. So I had every reason to have that on her phone, but I just could never bring myself ever to do it. I could not do it. I hated it so much.
I feel like for me, it would just make me more anxious.
Yes.
But
tying yourself it's just another fucking thing to worry about. Your baby monitors with the video capability. Fucking A. There's never a disconnect. And this is my full opinion. God, give it a rest. Like, it's okay. They're going to go to sleep and you don't have to look at a screen of it and you don't have to know where they are every 10 seconds. You probably don't want to know where they are every 10 seconds.
Yeah. Maybe I'll
You're
change
like,
my mind about it.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Thanks for your opinion. Not going to happen.
Why are we
Anyway.
friends again?
It's probably because you know how you were as a teenager, I'm guessing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And And I don't know. I mean, we'll have to, I guess, cross that bridge when we get to it, because I will say this. I used to think that I'd want him to go to a preschool where they showed us, like, where I had the access to cameras, and obviously none of the places where he's going do. And if I had that
thing,
like they send us pictures at the end of the week, like, of just what they did in the activities.
Okay.
And I, like, this last couple of weeks when he had trouble, now this week I probably won't study them, but I would look through first for only him. Then I would look through again for what the other kids were feeling. Then I would look through again for, like, how they,
wow, you really do.
I was like forensically studying the 10 pictures that they sent.
No, absolutely not.
So with that in mind,
this is terrifying. I didn't know this level of, no.
It's when he struggles. Like, if nothing is going on, then I'm always just like thinking about his mental health and like emotional health and stuff.
In preschools.
Certain ones do, not all of them.
I knew they had that doggy daycare situation.
No, several of them do.
I had no clue.
Not these.
I think it just breeds this feeling of something's going to go wrong, what could go wrong. I have to be checking in.
It also just feeds into the illusion of control.
Yes.
That we have control. And I think we've gone so far in that direction that I'm hoping that it will balance itself out, because we're all still figuring out how to deal with the fact that option to see and know what your kids are doing at all times. I've always been a pretty out of sight, out of mind. If I'm not with my kids, it's pretty easy for me to just tune it out.
Healthy. I
didn't have a video monitor with Ava, but we have one with Penny, but that's mainly because we're on different floors of the house now. And I'm waiting for her to climb out of that thing.
Yeah.
It's going to happen sooner than later.
And what would be the worst thing that would happen?
Oh, I don't know. It's not like I can't do without the video monitor. That's just, I don't know. That's what I registered for.
I'm saying, like, it evolves, and then everybody has it, and then everybody's doing it. It becomes the new next thing. Like, when I didn't even know that phone thing it's Life Track 360.
Oh yeah, I just mean like Find My iPhone.
Oh no,
I don't
this
do the
is
like.
tracking,
I know it. My brother has that.
This is like standard stuff that people have on their
I do
kids' phones. And I feel like, to what you just said about control, the antithesis of being a good parent, control should have nothing to do with it. I think up to a certain age, you need to control environment, help them regulate things. But at a certain point, the more you can let go of that and not have that anywhere near your vocabulary, God, you'll be so much better off. Yeah.
I think that, so my like obsession with his mental health and stuff, that like I'm concerned about certain things, and I want him to feel super supported in certain ways. So I always say, I feel like he's going to say his trauma is that my mom wanted me to not have any trauma. And like, obviously that's not realistic, and I know that, but I grew up in a house where there was just not enough oversight. And so I, as many people do,
overcompensate.
I'm writing those, and my goal is to right those wrongs. So I don't think there's going to be like an issue with control.
Was the lack of oversight also, you grew up in a pretty rural space, right?
Yeah.
And I know a little bit about your background.
There's a slippery slope. You really want to...
No. I'm saying, I look at the lack of boundaries, or what I've already forgotten what you said. I look at that as making you a wild, free, imaginative. I really do. I have a really weird thing in that, where I see that contributed to so much of who you were, that if you didn't have that, I probably wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't care as deeply as I do about you. And I had a lack of that stuff too. I think that's of the time also a little bit. Like, it was the typical streetlights, when the streetlights come home and play, and we didn't have babysitters in the summer, and we just did whatever and lived through it. And I think that makes for a resilient, good. I see a lot of really good things in that. And I see a lot of overcorrecting. Yeah. When you think of it, when you kind of have a negative connotation, but if you can remove yourself from like the bad things that did, and kind of think, well, we were out in the middle of nowhere. My parents were this. You know what I mean? I don't get it.
I'm like at peace with the way I grew up. I'm grateful for every good and bad thing. And I'm not here to like tear my parents' parenting down at all. But I notice that for my specific personality, there were certain things emotionally that could have been handled in a way that I think would have set me up better. But like, I think it's great. And I'm like handling all those things now. And that's why I'm in so much therapy and whatever. That's not only why, whatever. I made my own choices too.
There's a whole
long
list.
I choose my choice.
But the point is, let's not make this just about me. But the point is, I hear you. And I will take that in.
Do you see me as well?
I hear you and I receive it.
Super.
And I'm already like aware of control stuff. So I will take that note in. But I think if you were around us all the time, you'd be like, oh, you're just like, it's his mental health and like emotional health. It's not so much, I think he's going to do something wrong. I know we're pretty chill. Like I know what is going to happen.
I have no idea what you're
he's
getting at here. At all.
I meant like, don't stress. I'm not like going to try to like.
Don't worry about it.
Clearly it's cool.
Yeah.
Clearly there's no issues
Right.
here.
Shut the fuck up about my parenting is what I'm trying to say. Jesus Christ.
You're doing a great job, sweetie. You're doing a great job.
Joy, have you ever been driving around and you're like, you just need 30 seconds of, I don't know, to check your phone or to just space out and have your kid entertained, to cry?
Yeah.
Yes. And also if you have your kid with you, but you need to distract him, but you don't want to put him in front of a screen, you know what a great thing that you can do would be?
I think I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're going to the car wash.
We're going to the car wash. And the car wash that Momcult endorses is Camel Express Car Wash, locally owned in Nashville, Tennessee.
I wish I could do like a camel noise, but I'm not confident on what that is. I'm just going to spit across the room. Yeah.
And Momcult listeners can text Momcult to 30400 for a free $25 car wash. Treat yourself to 30 seconds of darkness and just deafening sound, which happens to be usually entertaining for kids or terrifying, but either way.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't know if your kid's terrified.
Right in.
Can I ask a question?
No, not right.
But it's about the car wash.
What? Just get
ruining
it out.
I'm not going to ruin it. I promise
You are currently ruining
Go.
No. Do they have vacuums there? Because I used to have a car called the Pepperidge Farm Edition, which meant my kids just threw goldfish everywhere and I never cleaned them out.
Yes, that's a
So
good
to
point.
me, vacuum is the most important part. Thank you.
They do. They do have vacuums.
That is a good point.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I was wrong. The strongest vacuums I've ever used in my life, ever.
What
They
I'm
do have them and they're
saying.
free detailing
Use
stuff.
hashtag Pepperidge Farm for your discount.
So by ruining it, you mean making it 20 times better.
You can find your Camel Express at camelexpress.com. Thanks, Camel. Thanks, Camel.
Speaking of parenting, Kate, looking back, what were the hardest years for you? Or the most survival years?
I don't know. I think maybe I also have I'm in a glorious little bubble right now. And I also have a feeling with one kid, it's so much harder than 3. 2 kids, it's so different with as many as you have. The more you have, the more it's sometimes the less work that you have to do. I don't know if that makes sense. But people are like, God, 1, 2, and 3, 2, 3, and 4, 4, 5, and 6. That must have been so hard. And we kept saying, God, but when they're this age, it's going to be so hard. Man, when they're teenagers, okay. Really, when they're like really in high school, it's going to be so hard. And it was never a problem. We had sure moments of it being hard, but I feel incredibly lucky that I don't know if it was our parenting style or what it necessarily was, but they were really good kids. And you asked me to write down an example of something hard. And with the step parenting thing, I have really different expectations than a lot of people. And when you're a step parent, you have to have different expectations as the mother of the vaginal birth mother and your father, not your father, Sarah. I do everything in accordance to your dad. All my parenting comes from that.
Harold.
I'm like, what would Harold do in this situation?
What would Harold do?
How can I really channel him? So you have to kind of give everybody room and understand, like, the mom over here is going to have these certain expectations. And that's okay. But at my house, these are my expectations. And so the kids would get really upset because I'm more strict and I'm more like, what's with homework? What are our plans for this? And I want to keep on top of that because to your point, no one was really looking at me going, hey, did you do any homework today, lazy ass? Did you do anything? So I relate to what you're saying in that. So I'm super like, I want to know that they have expectations. I don't feel like anybody put expectations in front of me.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
You just didn't say that at all. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm bad at that. That's me being bad at that. Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Join me as I start my new hosting gig as Momcult, replacing Sarah Parker Massey.
I think that makes sense.
But anyway, there was a time, and this was like one of the light bulb moments of motherhood. I think I've only literally had two. But it was the two of them, and for whatever reason, Senate wasn't home, and I was talking to them about work, and it was getting heated, and arms were getting crossed. And we don't really have a lot of conflict in our house. We don't talk in a certain way to each other. And Viga looked at me and he said, why are you always on our ass?
Ooh,
and I was like,
I'm just fighting words.
On ass, huh? And it was so like striking to me that they thought that this was on their ass because I'm really cool. It's not like, do 20. I have these high requirements. You have to get all straight A's, but I want you to know that you have potential and you need to live up to it and blah, blah, blah. It's super easy. It's not that difficult. But when maybe at another house, things are way more lax, then all of a sudden I look like a beast. And I said to them, you know what? This is your first time being a teenager. I understand. And I'm trying to help you through it because after this, my only goal as a parent, and this is it, I'm just preparing you for the world. I don't even need to love you. We don't even need to talk about that at certain points. I want you to be a good person that can do their laundry, survive in the world, be in a semi-stable relationship. These are the things. It's not to make you feel like pretty like a flower and all this shit. Like now it's go time. You're in high school. You're about to graduate. I'm serious about this. And my point to them was, you're a teenager and it is my job to help you. And I don't always know and you don't always know. And what I said out loud next was, this is your first time being a teenager. This is my first time being a parent to 3 teenagers. And like really a light bulb went off when I said that out loud and I heard it, but maybe for them to hear it, to realize, oh shit.
We're all in this together.
Yeah, but it's a difference to say that saying, but then really think, oh my God, I don't. And I'm admitting to you right now that this is really hard. It's hard for you to live it, but it's hard for us to navigate it too, because we don't want to be too strict and whatever. So it was, I think, this moment of maybe recognition that when you can be vulnerable with your kids and say, listen, you're messing up, I'm messing up. Like we're doing this together, but you have to trust me. And boundaries and that kind of stuff are really important. But that was a big moment for me I wish I would have done more of that. Saying, okay, I don't know exactly what I'm doing here. I'm trying to figure out the best that I can.
Yeah.
So that's like that was a big moment for me, learning that. Yeah. I don't remember any of the other questions.
It's been
attached to that.
I try to be that way I don't think I try to be. I don't have the energy to not be, but Ava's 10 and she very much sees all sides of me raising another baby and just the reality of it being hard and me being tired and me being frustrated. And that's it. That's all that made me think about.
But I think a lot of people don't want to, maybe it's this Instagram world or blog or everything's pretty and whatever. I don't subscribe to that and never have, but I can't imagine the enormous pressure that you guys have as just a few years older than me. I'm 32 now, and you are how old?
12.
Okay.
Yeah,
so we're really close in age. That's what I'm getting
at.
You guys
16.
Just started really early.
Yeah.
But I think that...
How are your 30s going so far?
I mean, it's I'm only 2 years in, but so far so good. I had Senate when I was 10. Anyway, the whole point of this is... I think that's healthy. And I think being more transparent and making them realize that you're going to make mistakes too. And apologizing is huge. And being able to go back and say, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. That's something really weird to say to your kids. But it's also everything you do, you're teaching them, whether you understand it or not. And so if you want that reflected back to you, you better fucking say it to them too. So that's a big thing.
Yeah.
But I will point out that was the first parenting mistake I made. And it was like 2 years ago. So I had like 16 years of like perfection.
Breeze before
whatever.
that.
Wait, what was the mistake?
I have no idea. Actually,
There was no mistake.
There was no mistake.
Listed.
All right. Okay.
Still got a great track record.
That's it for me tonight.
Aces.
I will come back if I make a parenting mistake and let you know how that went.
Thank you.
Thank you for pointing that out. There was no fucking mistake. I knew it. I am always right.
Mistake-free parenting.
They were being jerks. That's the only thing that was happening.
Yeah, that was the mistake, is me even thinking for a minute that I did something wrong. How dare them. Stepkids, you know what I mean?
So rewinding a little bit, like Senate just went to school, Vigo's gone to school, college.
Yeah.
But when they were little, you started and ran a business.
Yeah.
How did you feel about it? Were you guilty? Did you feel a bunch of guilt about it? Did you just push through?
And I have things about that. Here's the problem with parenthood and motherhood, and specifically, and it's cliches are cliches for a reason. You are going to realize all of this shit when you've already done it. Like, I look back at and I'm like, I'm never going to do things like my mom did, but she worked so fucking hard. She was never there, and she never went to a soccer game, and she, blah, 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 until I was in that same position having to work. Like, what the fuck else was she going to do? Do you know what I mean? And so you learn forgiveness and then leniency for yourself too. At first it was a struggle, but the minute I realized there's no such thing as balance, just get that out of your mind. Just go to work. Stop making it a big deal. You're going to be busy. I made a rule for myself, and this is a life hacker tip or whatever you want to call it, but say you will never miss a bath, or you will never miss a bedtime story, or you will never miss a dinner, or you will always take the kids to school. Have your one thing that you will always be there to do. So you're not because I could have worked endless hours and never come home to do the one thing and been like, I have to meet with this client. It's whatever. So if you have your thing that is I'm not going to miss this, so that you have some quality time, that they're not just seeing you in passing, that really helped guide me. That helped me say no to things instead of just working so hard. But the mom guilt is a real thing, but you will look back and you will be most pissed that you did that to yourself. You will be incredibly pissed with the amount of energy that you spent worrying about all the things that you're doing to be your own person, basically. Because all that's going to do is make your kid a better person. And that's the end of it. That's as complex as it is. That's something that is, I don't even know how that myth got perpetuated, but it did, and we believed it, and we never have to feel guilty if we love our kids and we're setting good examples for them and we're fulfilling ourselves. I would be the worst fucking mother on planet Earth if I wasn't fulfilled. If I was just living for play dates and to see what my kid wanted, I would be in an insane asylum.
Yeah.
You're
You're also preparing yourself for that when they do leave.
Yes.
You're still as full of a human as you can be.
Right. What you just said about Ava seeing you, she's seeing the whole picture. She's not seeing this like perfectly curated version of you. She's seeing, oh, well, my mom, did this, but she also loved chocolate croissants and not working out.
She also never saw her exercise. She ate a lot of pastries. Jesus.
But I think if you can just say to yourself, it's utterly pointless. I've just figured out, man, if you really love your kids, really love them, it'll all work out. It'll all fall into place.
The illusion of control and the illusion of perfection need to just not exist.
But guilt is the number one worst thing that you're going to try to save this kid from the thing that your parents did to you. Just love your kid and be cognizant of the things that maybe you wish you could change and break some cycles, and just do your best. Don't beat the fuck out of yourself for that, and don't overthink it. And the best thing that you said is the transference. They're going to feel whatever your energy is. So if your energy is just, I'm just out here doing my best learning with you, not trying, and it's also like, I'm not trying to teach you necessarily. I'm trying to learn with you. I think there's a little bit of nuance there.
That's a good point.
I don't know what it is. It sounded really smart coming out of my mouth.
No, that
Please
did.
don't ask me what it is. But I think there's an element of control, right? If you're teaching versus learning, it probably is some deep Zen bullshit, but it's probably very true. So if I could just say anything to you guys, I would just want to wring everybody's neck out there that is thinking that they have to sacrifice something. Just do what you want to do. Love your kid. And I promise you everything falls into place. Really. I brought this for you guys, and I'm probably going to leave it here. But this is the parents, dad aging, And one thing that I really love in here, and I'm going to have...
Oh, are you going to read us a poem?
Parents what?
Yes.
the Tao.
Oh, of course, the Tao.
Okay, so 2 things. And then I don't want to talk anymore.
Okay.
Okay. You don't have to make your children into wonderful people. Ready? You only have to remind them that they are wonderful people. They already are. Really, I'm not going to read that whole thing, but that's a huge takeaway. And then I'm going to say one more thing about this book, and then this is going to be yours. So I went through this after not picking it up for a long time. And I always dog ear pages.
Don't worry about how long it takes, because I can edit any dead space. So take your time.
What are you trying to say? That's weird. I will take my time. Thank you. Okay, so this is 27. I turned right to this page probably after not picking up this book for 16 years, since clearly I've got it all going on. It's called Fan the Spark, and it says, your children plan their own education, like it or not. You must learn to cooperate with that plan. If they are drawing, they become artists. If they are reading, they become students. If they are investigating something, they become scientists. Whatever they are doing, they are learning, and it is for them pure joy. Which, by the way, have you thought about pure joy as a concept podcast for you?
Oh my God. That's
The funny
same as my name.
thing about this is the 3 people that are the 3 things that they describe are our 3 kids to August is a unbelievable artist. So she draws all the time, always has. Senna is a huge reader, book collector, and now going to school is big time. And Vigo is coming into his own with bugs. This sounds so crazy, but he's in college now, and he's finally like that click thing has switched. He went and worked at the Aquatic Critter, free plug. And this kid is like a fucking marvel at science and these bugs, and he found something that's super interesting to him, and I'm sure it can turn into something like wildlife management or something, but all these things that they naturally did and that we allowed them to do, it's already there. So your job is kind of just to encourage that, explore it, let them explore those things, and the least you try to put of yourself on them, I think it's so good. It's the way to do it. Thank you for having me.
And scene.
That was easy.
But this is really, seriously.
I loved
love
both
it.
the things that you read.
Okay, now you guys talk about something else.
I felt very defensive, but then I feel like we were on the same page after the fact. I'm not still doing it. I'm done.
Defensive about what?
When you were like saying...
You were yelling at
You know
her.
what it was? It wasn't you. It wasn't defensive. I felt misunderstood, and I like knew that I couldn't explain like the whole picture of what I was like, my picture for parenting. I couldn't like do it. I couldn't explain it.
And I probably attacked you rather than just...
Not really. It just felt like a correcting. And I was like, no, I think we're more on the same page than you think. Because I'm not. And maybe I will be controlling, but I don't think so.
But what, can you play the tape back, please?
Yeah.
I'll wait. The thing that you said was, what did she say? You said there was your
Correcting
environment.
my like environment.
No, but what were you saying that you were trying to do from it?
You mean...
You were trying to change. You grew up in a place without...
Right. I just used that as an example. Without, maybe I said, I don't know, oversight or something.
Yeah, I think that is what you said.
But I think whatever. The point is that you said something, like you understood it.
In a
and then,
different
like,
way.
said, yeah.
So that's exactly...
Yeah.
My personality type is just to go in at you. But what I meant from that is I think that made you who you were. And I didn't want you to just criticize yourself. Yeah. But instead it turned out that you thought I was criticizing you.
No. My point in bringing it up is to say I didn't feel like you were attacking me, and I got defensive more because I wanted you to understand that I think that we're on the same page.
Yeah. Now I get it. And it's those things of wanting to, I don't like the word correct either. Like gently.
Re-navigate.
Yeah, I'm big into reframing lately.
Right.
So the things that we didn't like about our childhood or maybe the way our parents went about, we do that now in a different way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think some of depending on what your childhood was like, some of those have to be more like actively change those,
Yes,
like break that generational habit or pattern. But some of those things we probably don't even have to try to change. We just naturally are going to do that because we didn't like it.
And
so,
when we're not in the 70s anymore,
Right.
like that just isn't a thing we can do.
Yeah.
And you don't, But my point is also take the compliment of you are wild and free and your imagination is crazy and insane. And that probably is a lot to do with
Totally. Yes.
that stuff.
But I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful I lived through it. But I'd like him to have
I'm
just
grateful I survived.
just a teeny bit more oversight. Just a little bit.
But that's what, look, it's self-corrected in the fact that you live in a city right away. That's like doing half the work for you in a way. But
Just stop trying, Sarah.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Sarah, what the fuck?
The way that you described, like the doing homework, and that's all that I mean. Like I'm just.
So
I'm
once I
here.
said that,
I'm
I was
gonna
like,
be
oh, I
here,
get
and
it.
I'm
Exactly.
here.
Yeah.
Be your own person, but I'm going to be here.
But then also check yourself when you think you might be getting too, like trying to overcorrect.
I think
almost.
Eric will
And I saw
check me when I do
Well,
that.
I think that's the coffee. That's the not drinking coffee. You're
is
that's
helpful.
you
You don't
realizing like,
Right.
oh, here's some things I'm doing that I'm seeing affect my kid that I don't want to. So I'm going to take some small steps to try and figure out if that is indeed what is affecting him or not.
Yeah.
I think you're doing a great job.
Guys,
Regardless of
thank you.
what
This has been so good for me.
Thank
Every
God.
time we do this, it is like
Has
that.
it though?
Yeah.
I'll come back next week
Guess
and
we'll
check
see.
in.
We'll see how many listens it gets.
Yeah. Okay. You ready? First, I'm going to intro. This is Pop Culture Corner, a special edition, but mostly the same. We're going to recap an episode of season 9, episode 13 of Real Housewives of New York. And okay.
Here we go.
Oh, you got it.
Yep.
Ready? Go. Okay. Sonia is starting. Okay. So, well, whatever. I'm just going to act like you know the people. Okay. Bethany Frankel has a brand named Skinny Girl. Sonia Morgan, ex-wife of JP Morgan, is going to start a brand, an alcohol brand called Tipsy Girl. And they're on the same cast at the same time. And she comes over to Bethany, who's like awesome, but terrifying. And Bethany's like, just rips her to shreds because Sonia's like really quiet, sort of not quiet. That's crazy stupid to say. She's not quiet, but she's just can't match Bethany in an argument. And so that happens. And then I think in another episode, and then this episode, season 913, is when Dorinda says, clip. Do it. You do it.
Clip.
Thank you.
Clip.
Why was my clip bad? That's why I didn't want to do the dramatic reading myself.
No, I want to try.
She
Clip. Yes. Perfect. Clip.
yeah, she's like fourth wall breaking, editing Sonia during a dinner party.
Ooh, that's
Wow.
bad.
Form.
That's how you get.
Insult.
It was bad.
Oh, wait, you're done? That's your
Yep,
time.
she's only got a minute.
That
Yeah.
was good. What was it? I don't understand what
So,
you're doing.
and then they're just at a dinner party, and Sonia's like,
No, your
roping.
time is
over.
up.
Yeah, I heard
Okay, well now no, it's over.
But I don't
I
understand.
failed. I lost.
Okay. Now for the wins. Welcome to my pop culture corner called Do You Know Your Taglines?
Guess that tagline.
And we're going to score this?
What are we going to do? Best out of 5?
It's a dramatic reading by Joy of taglines for Real Housewives of New York.
But should we just go add on it's your turn first?
One. Yeah.
And then if you don't know it, I get to steal it. But you don't tell us the season.
Yes,
You don't tell us
that's
anything.
good.
You just pick whatever you want.
Great.
Go. Ready, begin.
Okay, you ready?
Go.
If people can't handle the truth, it's really not my problem.
Bethany?
Nope.
I know.
You want to steal?
Brenda.
Ramona.
Damn it, that was
kinda
my
thought
first
that.
guess.
I thought that.
Okay, 0-0.
Okay, ready?
Go.
This one will go to Kate first. I may be a princess, but I'm definitely not a drama queen.
Carol Radziwill.
That is correct.
Oh, wow. I was going to get it wrong.
Which, by the way, I have a huge beef with her that we
Love
could
her.
do. Okay. Well, I don't anymore.
I have a
One
book
point.
of her mother-in-law's interior design. Or like,
Next.
so good.
Clip. Clip.
All right, Sarah. This one is for you. Like a fine wine, I just get better with time.
Ramona.
Obviously.
That is correct.
Layup.
Ramona Singer.
Okay. I'll give you a bonus point if you can name her jewelry line.
Ooh.
Not True Religion, True Faith. Is it True Faith?
It is True Faith.
True Faith, and her Pay Me $20 if I can say Ageless by Ramona is her skincare line.
Dang.
I'll take $20 to my Venmo.
All right. Does she get an extra point for that? Isn't that
Give it.
what you
It's
promised
fine.
her?
She should do the same for me.
All right, this one is a first one to answer wins. My success is built on making women look and feel their best. Holla!
Heather Thompson, God, with that holla. I would take that holla. I will ring it around her neck 3 times. I will pull tightly until I see all of the blood drain from her face.
Okay,
Big
that
fan.
is correct. That is correct. But
Hey, Mama. Gross. She's so gross.
I like her.
What about this
would.
one? A true New Yorker never backs down, and I am no exception. Holla!
Same. I will.
Hey, Mama.
Once again.
Heather, hey, Mama Thompson.
Yummy tummy.
All right, ready? Last one.
Okay.
Oh, I stopped taking track.
I've won.
Okay, anyways. This is double or nothing. Whoever gets this one wins the whole thing.
Okay.
Cool.
I've created a great life and love living it.
Say it again.
I've created a great life and I love living it.
Ramona Singer.
No, it's wow.
You're not going to say the Jewish lady that
Bobby
has her kids in chairs.
Jill Zarin.
Nope. Kelly.
Ben Simone.
She has
Ben
not
Simone.
created a great
Wow.
life.
Okay, we both lose. We're both terrible at this, is what I've learned today.
This has been the ultimate joy and thrill for me. I'd like to thank you ladies in advance for hosting the best podcast I've ever been on.
Thanks for being our guest, Kate. It's
Yes.
good to get to see you.
Thanks for all the technical work you guys put into this show beforehand.
Yeah.
Made me feel like you were real pros.